Hello? Hello?
Podcast Network Asia.
Hey guys, welcome back to Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. Let's do it again. Hey guys, welcome back to Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. My name is Alec and I'm your host. And this is a new segment called Ask Alec, where I share or I read your story and I answer all of your questions. And I had a sender this week, and this week's story, in the first ever episode, I picked a message that I got from Instagram. If you guys want to be a part of this segment, you can also share your stories and send your questions on Instagram at Small Talk Podcast. And yeah, I'll pick the best one that I feel like would benefit the most people. And yeah, so if you guys can send me a message there, and I'll pick the best one every single week, and I'll share my insights on that topic. So this week, I have a sender, and she said, "Just wanna share this, kuya. At least gumaan naman tong dinadala kong pakiramdam. Kasi po, I'm just an average person lang. Yung normal lang ang kaalaman, hindi masyadong matalino. Walang honors in high school, but I do well in studies naman and no failures. Pero sumasagi pa rin sa isip ko yung mga what-ifs. Kasi para sa akin, kapag sa medical field ka, matalino ka, tsaka dapat with honorable mentions ka in your previous education level and college level. Kaya nung nag-dentistry po ako, 6 year na po ako, ngayon, bale last year na, palagi kong natatanong sa sarili ko kung kaya ko ba at the end. Paano ko ba ma-manage ang lahat, kuya? Kasi most of the time, hindi ko ma-imagine kung what will I be in the future, kung maging successful ba ako. Overthinking na naman po ako. Question ko po is paano ko ma-overcome yung mga problems, tsaka self-doubts and what-ifs. Paano ma-manage yung oras kasi sabay online classes and online clinics sa akin. At the end of the day, physically and emotionally drained talaga. Any self-motivation po for us as a college student struggling or advices, kuya? Keep pushing forward. Thank you very much." Okay, so to the sender, thank you so much for sharing your story and your questions. Well, first of all, what I think is it's really common for a lot of people who are reaching the end, or at least the end of a chapter, to feel like, kaya ko ba? To have that doubts and fears. And let me tell you one thing. The people who are successful in life doesn't mean that they're not scared. Doesn't mean that they don't have doubts. Name a person that you admire. Name a person that you really look up to. And I can assure you 100% that he also has doubts. He also has what-ifs. The difference between the people who become successful or the people who actually get to do the things that they want to do in life are the people who are able to drown out those little voices. They're able to say to their fears that, "Oh, you're here again." Right? And that's like how we should approach our doubts and our fears. It will always come every single time along the journey, along the road. There will always come a time that that voice at the back of our minds will say to us that you can't do it. Who are you to be at this level? Who are you to achieve your goals and your dreams? Who are you to become successful? Right? But the thing is, you've just said that you are already in the 6th year of your college. And it may be a long journey, and there are people who might be better at what you do, but that doesn't mean that you're not good in what you do. If you reach that point, if you are in the last year of your schooling, that means you can make it. You deserve to be in that position. Similarly, I also feel that in some way Like right now, the podcast is growing, right? So I'm getting different people on. I'm getting different guests on the show, big time guests, and big time people that has a huge following, and I'll also be guesting in Joy Springs podcast, which is crazy. And once I got those questions, I asked myself, well, kaya ko ba yun? What if I don't be successful? What if I don't do good in that particular area, right? But the thing is, I always remember that I'm not ahead, I'm not behind, I'm exactly where I used to be. I'm not ahead, I'm not behind, I'm exactly where I need to be. And that just comforts me in a way that, well, everything that I made, every decision that I made in my previous life, in my past, led me to this point, put me in this position. And that is why I deserve all the things that I dream of. That's why I know I can be at the top, because right now there are opportunities that can get me there. First and foremost, you won't get the opportunities to become successful, whatever your definition of success is, if you're not putting in the work, if you're not, if you didn't work hard in your past. So when you are in a position when you have all these opportunities that you can get to the next level, right? If you have this opportunity to get to level 7 of your life, that means you're already at level 6. And instead of focusing how hard it is to reach the next level, because every single time that you come near to the transition phase of getting to that next level, you will have doubts, you will have fears. Just like how you had fears when you were trying to get to level 6 and level 5 and level 4. Every single time that you are close to getting to the next level, you are having those fears. But let me tell you what. Your score with your fears and doubts are 100%. You had doubts, you had fears, but you've overcame. And that is, and this position doesn't make it any difference. It's still the same voice that you heard last year. It's still the same voice when you were entering college. It's still the same voice when you had that initial idea that you want to become a dentist or a doctor or in any medical or in any field. It's the same voice that asks you, can you be good? Are you good enough? Right? But 100% of the time, you shook that voice away. You tried to minimize that voice, and you start doing. Okay? So the first step that I will advise you is to understand that you deserve to be here. Wherever you are in your life, and you might think that and you might ask yourself, well, do I deserve to be in the spot? Am I even good enough? Trust me, you are. If you reach that point, then you are good enough. Okay? But imagine like you're driving down 100 kilometers down the road, but there's no street lights. You can only see what's in front of you, right? And you are already in this point where you're driving 10 kilometers and you're already in the 11th kilometer, and you start having these fears. Well, can I drive there? Apparently you can, because you already drove 10 kilometers. But you gotta just focus on the first on the kilometer, on where you are right now, and focus just once what's in front of you. Okay? Focus one step at a time. Focus it one day at a time. And drop down that noise that tells you or asks you that are you good enough? Can you do it? Trust me, you can. And so that's the first thing, when you've been able to drown out that voice that you've always been battling with, that you've always defeated, then you can start with the next step. And the next step is to just have confidence in yourself. Okay? Every great doctor, every person who has a great who is an expert in their field started with nothing, started with those doubts as well. But they brushed off those doubts and start executing and start helping other people. And the moment they were able to help just one person, right? When we are scared because of our dreams, it's because we're too focused on ourselves. Instead, we should focus on our purpose. And our purpose is to help other people. When we shift our focus from ourselves to helping other people, it becomes so much easier. We're not worrying about ourselves. Am I good enough? I don't really give a shit. Like, I don't even care right now if I'm good enough. But if I could help one people out there, if I could fix the teeth of one person out there, then I'm good enough. And I want you to do that. Okay? I want you to just focus. I want you to not focus on whether someone's better than you, or you don't have the grades to become a great dentist or a great doctor, because as we are moving forward, when you graduate, it's a blank slate. It's an equalizer. Your grades don't matter. Your school don't matter. It's an equalizer when you get out there. But what's important is, what are the skills that you can offer to this world that can provide value to other people? That's what matters. Okay? So I want you to focus on that. I remember a story where a famous archer was competing in the biggest game or the biggest tournament of her life. Archers require a huge amount of focus to hit that bullseye, right? But it turns out that the more she was focusing on hitting that target, the more she was focused on the outcome, the more she became stressed. What she did was she focused on the thing that she has been doing all her life. And that is the perfect form, the breathing, the release, and then the outcome will just happen. She didn't think, what if I don't hit that? What am I going to say to my friends, to my family? What if I win? What should I say to the media? She didn't focus on the outcome. She focused on the process. And I want you to focus on that as well. Okay? And do not ever say that the world is only for people who have good grades. Grades are nothing, believe me. And I want you to remember that grades are not the only thing that could make a doctor great. A lot of doctors have high IQ. A lot of doctors have all straight A's or the top of their class. But some doctors lack empathy, which makes them, not the greatest doctor in their field or in that hospital. You see, there's a lot of skills at play, and you can only understand that once you get to that point. But right now, you just need to focus on what's on your plate and focus to take things one step at a time. So that's two things that I want to share with you. I want you to first talk to that voice that always pops up and say, "Oh, ikaw na naman. Dito ka na naman." Nandiyan naman si self-doubt. Nandiyan na naman si what ifs. Okay? Pero don't listen to it. Don't indulge yourself into it. Just say na, okay, andyan ka na naman, pero I'm not going to listen to you. Okay, I'm doubting myself, pero I'm not gonna let you win. Okay? And then I want you to execute. Focus on what you know. Don't focus on the outcome. Focus on providing value for other people. that's the only time that you can only be good at something. Okay, when you're not actually focused on becoming good at it. When just focused on your purpose. When you're not focused too much on yourself. And so I hope that helps. Okay, there's I forgot that there's another question. How do you manage it? Because you feel like it's emotionally and physically draining. What I suggest is taking breaks. Taking rest is very important. Prioritizing your breaks, prioritizing your rest is very important. I'm not just talking about, okay, tapos na yung work ko, pahinga na ako, tulog na ako. Not like that. You gotta be intentional with your breaks. So I want you to plan out your day for tomorrow and for the week and put in what time will you actually be resting. And when you're resting, just sit there and clear your mind. And just breathe in and breathe it all out. Okay? Don't watch Netflix. If that just makes you feel like guilty for spending your breaks. Anything that feels you guilty, drop it. Just take a mental break and a physical break. Okay, I want you to prioritize that. Work is important, but you can only achieve a certain or the maximum amount of the quality of your work if you prioritize your breaks and your rest. Okay, there's a lot of science behind that. You can search for it in the internet, but yeah, I want you to prioritize your breaks. Put it in your calendar, put it in your schedule, put it in your routine to take breaks. And so that's what I have for you for this episode. I hope that I answered your question. And yeah, I'm looking forward for next week's Ask Alec. You can again send your story and your questions on Instagram at Small Talk Podcast. And I will be very, very excited to read your story here and answer your questions in the best of my abilities. So yes, thank you so much for listening. I hope you learned something. And I'll talk to you guys on Monday. See you guys.
The views and opinions expressed by the podcast creators, hosts, and guests do not necessarily reflect the official policy and position of Podcast Network Asia. Any content provided by the people on the podcast are of their own opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.